This is Brian Sebastian. You're watching Movie Reviews and More. Today's guest, Cynthia Harrison. Saw this movie called, oh my God, Silver Tsunami. I'm still thinking of other things, matter of fact, because I saw it at least 2 weeks ago now, and it still is ingrained in my brain every day that I get up and talk about this. Great. Talk about how you made this documentary and how tough it was to make, because this is an important movie.
It's a very important movie, and the whole subject, I didn't realize when I started to make it, I started finding the facts. And when I first discovered the Buck Institute for the Research on Aging, I was living in Marin County, and I was driving back and forth on the freeway trying to think, what's the next documentary? What should I do? And I saw this building, and I heard about it, and I thought, well, maybe it's like a beauty treatment. Maybe it's going to be the next beauty treatments, the research on aging. And I went and I took a tour, and I found out what they were really doing, which is, you know, treatments. They're developing, all these scientists from all over the world are developing these treatments, trying to develop treatments, interventions for aging, for the aging population. And the more I spoke with the scientists, the scarier it got. And I started hearing the facts, which I, as a baby boomer, never realized. I mean, I knew we were a large generation, but things like we are the largest generation ever born. And they were saying things like, by 2030, there will be more people over the age of 65 than under the age of 5, which is amazing. I mean, I didn't even think of that. And they were also giving me facts about the population, the aging population, that it's not just a U.S. problem. This is a worldwide problem. And
that's a strange thing, because we only think about what happens in this country, where I'm always looking at what's coming out of China. Because since China owns a lot of this country, you know, depending what's going on, it's not necessarily good. So when you said sweeping around the world, I'm like, I didn't even think about that aspect.
Didn't either. And I didn't realize that even now that Japan has a huge elderly population. And I think it's by 2030 or 2040, 40% of the people will be over the age of 65. And people will be taken care of. It also affects caregivers. It affects every generation. Because my daughter, and I started looking at that, and I look at my sister-in-law is taking care of my father-in-law, and he's 93. And in the last 5 to 10 years, he started having one ailment, one disease after the other. So it impacts her, and I'm thinking in the next 20, 30 years, that could be my child, my daughter. So you look at, it is multi-generational, and this is truly a worldwide problem that affects every single generation.
What really stood out for you when you were doing the research, and how did you go about getting the research? Yes, exactly.
Well, I got it everywhere. I got it online. I got it from Census, the Census Bureau. I got it from the scientists who have been devoting their lives, you know, studying aging. You know, that is their whole focus. And they were telling me all the different amazing facts that were overwhelmingly frightening. But again, they were saying that this is what it is. This is the Silver Tsunami. These are all the baby boomers who are going to be, what is it, every 8 seconds.
That's a scary thought.
A scary thought that somebody in this country turns 65 every 8 seconds, and it's 10,000 a day, 4 million a year. So within the next 20 years, there will be over 70 million boomers, 70 million seniors, actually, people over the age of 65.
That's incredible.
And I found that from them, and I found all these facts from them, and I was like, what do you do about it? So what are you doing about it? And they were talking about there are certain experimental drugs that they're using that are shown in mice to extend lifespan, and their funding, so it's their race against time because their funding is being cut. You know, research is really a lot less, the money that's going into research, because the economy, the National Institute of Health, where they've gotten a lot of funding, is really cutting down on the money that they're giving. So they're saying, wait, we can do something about this problem. Don't cut it. Don't cut us off. So they're fighting against that. And I was like, wait a minute, why aren't we supporting them? Why why isn't the word getting out that these people should be supported? Because this is a tsunami. This is a wave, a massive wave that's going to be sweeping the world.
What did you find out about China and even the Middle East?
China, the Middle East, it's very interesting because their economies don't support it. They don't have money going into research. Just like every single country outside of England does have money going into research, but they still are not coming up with the cures, and they're still not doing it in time, so they need even more money put into it.
Wow.
And it is going to affect the economies of the world because there will not be enough people to care for the aging population.
Talk about funding to get your short film project. How tough was that? Because, you know, it's hard to do a documentary no matter what you're doing.
It is very hard to get funding. I got some private funding together, and I put in some personal funding. And, you know, I had a budget and I knew that I had to stay within that, but there were some people who put some money into it who were very interested in the subject and said, oh my God, you know, wow, this is a wake-up call. We need to do something.
How long did it take you to finish it? Because it's 24 minutes right now, and in my mind, it's going to be longer because I see kind of where it's going.
Yeah. I was thinking, what would be, it's 23 minutes, and being in television, my background being in television, I thought, okay, if I do want to take it to TV, if it's 23 minutes, that's a half-hour show. And I thought, well, do I make it 43 minutes or 44 minutes to make it into an hour show? So I may, you know, actually try to do it for History or PBS or one of those. But I wanted it to be a short. I wanted it to just be long enough to capture people's attention. You know, if we have to show it at Senate committees, if we have to show it, you know, so their, you know, attention span might not be as long as we want. So.
And as we say, less is more.
Less is more. Less is more. It's like, and I wanted it to move. I wanted to hit those, I didn't want it to meander. I wanted to hit those important points of like, this is happening now. Let me show you, you know, lay out the facts. Let me show you that it's worldwide. Let me, you know, introduce you to the scientists, see, you know, what we can do and do something.
I always say, you know, a good movie or even good music has 4 E's. It's got to be entertaining. Right. Yours is educational. It's engaging, and it's engrossing. Because at the same time, it's a scary thought. Now, this is not, you didn't make this to be fear-based. You made it to educate.
That's so great, Brian. That's a great point, because I made it to give a wake-up call to people, because we're complacent. You know, we're in our day-to-day lives and we don't think about it. And it's a subject that I wanted people to be aware. I wanted to kind of shake them out of their complacency, not to make them scared, but to say, this is happening. We can do something. We can do something. Let's support the funding. Let's let the government know this is happening. Let's let them know that we care that this is happening. So that was very important to me.
Last question.
Sure.
What do you hope the audience takes away from seeing this movie when they get a chance to see it?
I want the audience to realize that this is a problem, this is a real problem, and that they can do something about it. That this is happening, and don't be scared, just be aware and support funding. You know, talk to your congressman, write to your congressman, do something and shake it up and get the word out.
Thank you so much.
I'm
Brian Sebastian. You're watching Movie Reviews and More, and look out for the Silver Tsunami because it's coming to you whether you like it or not.